streets.
This, bro, it's a new Street Fighter character. Obviously, her trailer dropped earlier than we all expected, but it do be like that. It do be like that. I don't know why she's out so early, but hey, that's pretty cool, no? My guess is that what they're gonna do is that they're showing this trailer now, and then they're probably gonna show, like, who knows, maybe an EX battle pass or EX season pass at Evo or something. I don't know, but yeah, World Tour is gone. That's why we're not getting like an Avatar trailer anymore, which is crazy because if you didn't know, Ingrid reset the universe or whatever the hell. So yeah, World Tour is gone. It's not getting more updates. It's completely like deleted. Well, it's not deleted, but it's like it's not a thing anymore. So yeah, let's take a look at this new character. Is Yasmine. She's an official character for Street Fighter 6. Nobody knows what she does, but she has a karambit, and yeah, apparently she's fast. Let's see it. What the hell? It's not the Capcom channel? Hold on, where the Capcom channel at? Hold on, what the? I see a PlayStation logo jump scare me. There we go. W. All right. 4K and all, quality and all. What does she do?
The streets to prove that I'm a fighter.
Oh, her voice.
Keep up if you can.
Yasmine.
Round one.
Oh, she fast. Her normal's probably gonna be stubby. Also, target combo. What? She has like a demon flip. Overhead. Cross up. Okay. A little bit of jabs. She be schmoving. Oh, what the hell is that? It's like a wrecker or something. That's meterless, by the way. Whoa, what is that? Oh, it's like a new Ubuki's. Oh no, it's like Ubuki Shuriken. Oh, that's plus. Cross up. Oh, she got left, right. Oh, floor bounce into like, what is that, a DP? Oh, her drive rush fast. Yo, this character looks sick. Oh, the spin. Damn. Boy, this character's sick. This character's sick. She ain't even using EXs. What's this skin? Is this schoolgirl fit? Yo, she got. Yeah, beat on Ingrid. Hold on. Floor bounce. Your combos are crazy. What is that? No, I gotta rewind that. Oh, pulls back. Overhead. Oh, what the hell? She's moving like Asuma. Damn. With the chakra blades like Asuma. What is this? Oh my gosh, she's hitting you so many times. What is that? No. Huh? Oh my, her combos look so long. Oh my god. She's hitting you so many times. The scaling about to be crazy. What the what? She like spins. She was like Kari Super Street Fighter 5. What the hell happened to her hair? Son, what? What did the what? 8-3? What did I just watch? What the hell? She spun you like Karine does and then fucking Hakai'd your ass. That shit was sick. Am I gonna look at the new Spider-Man trailer? I don't know if I should. It's gonna be copyright. I don't know if I should watch that. I don't think I can watch that on the stream, at least I'm live on YouTube. I'm sure I'll get shot. Let me look at this again.
Hit the streets.
I'm gonna pause this time.
To prove that I'm a fighter.
That shit was sick. That shit was sick. Yo, she hits you so many times. I feel like her scaling is gonna be so bad. Okay. Cross up, meterless. Sweep. Overhead. Cross up. Now, what was crazy was when she did a little cross up. Better play this character. I don't know if I'm gonna play that character, but like she looks sick, so I might. Bro, she be throwing like a boomerang or something. EX? That an EX? It's not even an EX, it's like a charged fan. It's like my charged fan. She has mutaless ones. DP. Her normal is probably stubby, that's plus. Into a cross up. Nah, this character's sick. What is she doing, bro? Oh, this movement. Into a whiff punish. She has time to recover it from there. Oh my god. Level 1. Boom. Slam you down. Yeah, I could probably take this character to match. This character is sick.
Thank you so much.
This character is sick, bro.
Ready.
Okay. EX is it. Oh, she got crouch medium kick drive rush. She got crouch medium kick drive rush. She has crouch medium kick drive rush. You already know how this is gonna go. Crouch medium kick drive rush chat. You know how this gonna go. Yeah, this character looks sick. Throws it, pulls it back. Overhead. EX is it. This is an install. Oh my god, this combo looks like it drops, but it doesn't. Look at that. No, bro. Oh, give a floor bounce. Nah, that's crazy. Wait, that's crazy. That's just comboing you in combo. God damn. Bro, she's definitely plus there. She's blowing glue. She has like an aura on her. It's an install for sure. What is this character, bro? Floor bounce. Bro, what is this cross up? Yeah, it's like Nash's move. Yeah, from Street Fighter 5. Yeah. Son, look at this, bro. She literally just zooms past you. It's like Cammy EX spin knuckle, but way faster. Way faster. DP. DI. Still in this. God damn, bro. That's what happened to her. Her thing came off. Wait, what happened to it? That one little strand is keeping her hair intact like this. Oh, her karambit cut it. That one strand is enough to do that to her hair.
That sounded kind of cool, right?
Who's like a punk character? Oh yeah, for sure. This is a punk character for sure, 100%. Oh, I wonder what he thinks. This is a punk the guy character for sure. This literally has punk written all over it. Oh, his reaction right here. This has punk written all over it, bro. Let me see his reaction.
Now she look kind of sick though. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me see his reaction real quick. He was hyped. This looks like a punk ass character, bro.
Nah, she's like weird.
Some shit punk would use.
Her stance is so weird. Look at that thing. Her stance is crazy.
I like her stance.
But right away, that walk.
I was watching this video when you live,
bro.
This is a punk ass character, bro.
Or maybe it was Kimberly walking so fast. Kimberly walked up to her actually.
This character's sick.
So she fights with a weapon. The
Whiff punish.
though is insane right here. Oh, it's another ninja?
Bro, she has a target come from a crouch medium. I didn't even see that.
Here.
Look at this, look at this. That's her crouch medium kick. She can drive rush off this, and she can do a target combo from it.
Ninja?
That's really good.
Whoa, demon
sweep
flip?
Into a demon flip. Air to air into a sweep.
That button right there seems broken already. Overhead.
He said that button look broken.
That button right there seems broken already. I could tell that
I can
three
tell
hitter,
that shit
whatever
broken.
that move is, it looks amazing.
Because you know it's gonna make you plus, and it's not gonna knock down. So they're gonna have to take they're gonna have to guess after you hit them with it. They're gonna have to guess.
No knockdown. Another heavy kick. Look at this. Another punish counter heavy kick.
Damn.
That grants a combo. Cammy's still waiting.
Wait, another. Wait. She has 2 punish counter heavy kicks. Wait, I didn't see the first one. I saw the sweep.
Oh, nah, this is gonna be some random character. She has a projectile, a boomerang?
Fucking boomerang. Nah, this character look evil.
Away on hit.
Nah, wait. If it's like my chat, oh, it don't go away on hit. So like, let's say like when my throws an EX fan, if you hit her, the fan is still gonna hit you. It's still gonna bounce up and come, bro. Oh my god, yeah, GG, bro. That's like the worst shit in fighting games. When the character's projectiles stay after you hit them, it drives people insane.
Yo, what is this character, bro?
Nah, this character's gonna farm people.
So maybe this is okay, but she looked. You know what? No way.
This character look broken. I'm telling you. That drive rush speed is OD. She had like Bison drive rush. Nah, this character looks sick, bro. This is a punk ass character, bro.
Rush?
This character looks sick, man. I definitely gotta tap into this, bro.
Oh, nah.
Damn, imagine how the other character's gonna look.
Wow, that drive rush, sir.
Punish counter. Oh my gosh,
that outfit trash, I ain't gonna lie, but she got low forward drive rush, y'all.
Yeah, low forward drive rush.
Top tier, look, low forward drive rush, boom.
I tell y'all this every time, low forward drive rush, top tier. It don't matter what character you playing.
Low forward drive rush.
DP with low forward drive rush, yeah, top tier. If you got a DP and you got low forward drive rush, you can be top tier.
Just don't jump, stupid.
It's funny because Jamie got that.
And she got an overhead. Look at this drive
bro.
Rush, bro. What is that?
Nah,
look
bro, because actually, though,
rush,
look how fast that shit is.
Look at this drive rush, bro. What is that?
Nah, they gonna hit her. Yeah, they gonna hit her. That's that move.
So
Mouse for a DP.
Install, y'all. Top tier, top tier. What?
The fuck is that?
Bro, that was some Mortal Kombat type.
That's an MK ass move. She just fucking put the blade on your head and saws you from the top. That shit is crazy, bro. What's up, Karma? New follow to the YouTube. Watch your blade con. Very thankful for the work you've been doing. Boosting on this character. I'm encouraging the character to sell. Really do want to this. Hey, congrats, bro. I appreciate that, man. And you got this, bro. You can definitely get him to sell. If I did it, you can too, bro. Lock in, bro. And I appreciate the kind words, man. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by the streams.
Yo, this air movement is
bro.
insane,
Character. If a character I play normal. What character do you play?
That's the install, I'm guessing. When her hand is just blue like that.
Yeah, her hand blue and she got like a aura, blue aura on her body. Like the wind. Focus. This is not the CA, right? This is the normal one, right?
Oh, nah, she hit you with
bro.
the Rasengan. Hold on.
She tosses your ass. Wait, she's kicking you to spin you. That shit is sick.
Hold on. She said Rasengan. Nah.
She spin your ass like a Rasen Shuriken and then she Rasengans your ass. Is that not insane? Is that not insane?
That's insane.
Those are fine. Those are fine characters. Yeah, you can climb with those. You keep learning those.
Bro, she looks like a literal completely different character when her hair is. That's actually crazy. That don't look like the same.
Christ, bro. Nah, this character's sick. That character's sick, bro. I will be playing that character. That character's sick. I gotta give her a try. She looks sick as hell. I don't know if I'm gonna drop Akuma in my for it, but like that character is sick. I'm impressed. I am impressed.